Okay, this is a video about the counterfeit creation that the devil has managed. Um, that is not the creation that God intended, but it is the creation that the devil was able to corrupt to his liking through the deception of Adam and Eve. This fantasy world that the devil has created appears differently to different people depending on their level. And that was revealed to me in a dream, actually. And we start off in this dream in the canopy area outside of a huge mountain, a huge mansion. And it's a canopy area right outside of the mansion. So it's like a tented area where this woman, um, who appears to be quite wealthy, is renting out tented space or canopy space outside of her mansion. And it's a very subpar kind of, area for vagabonds, maybe even homeless people, vacationers. But it's not. I mean, it's below average. But she's renting it out, so she's making a profit off of renting out this subpar, kind of dirty, dingy kind of place to people. And that accounts for the people at the lower level of the pyramid who really don't know what's going on, are under the thumb of Satan, because this woman didn't have a husband. And I remember in the dream wondering, where's her husband? Where's her husband? Of course, Christ is the bridegroom, and of course Satan, it refuses to marry Christ. He wants to go his own way. He's not going to be submissive. So Satan is this wealthy woman who has this huge mansion, who is already wealthy. And mind you, I couldn't discern an income, so there was no income coming in. Yet this woman was able to maintain this huge mansion without a husband. So that there tells you that something fishy is going on. Nevertheless, she's renting out this, tented area to vagabonds and homeless and making a profit off of it. Okay. So, and then on top of that, she makes a little place for herself outside to make it seem like, because I'm going through this tour with other people, to make it seem like she also spends time outside with the vagabonds and the homeless, which she doesn't. But she wants to make it seem as though she's charitable, she's a good person, and therefore to quell the suspicions of people who wonder how she could charge these people for staying in that area. So we move inside of the actual mansion, and inside of the mansion is so huge, it's so vast, and again, it raises suspicion as to how she's making this income. Well, um, after giving us breakfast, the people who are going through the tour, she gives us breakfast. So that again, that's like whetting your appetite. Like here's a nice breakfast, and we're going to do this tour. And we didn't do the entire tour. We couldn't get through the entire mansion because it was huge. But we were able to eat breakfast, and then the next thing we did was practice walking up these steps in unison with a partner behind us. And we were to do these certain steps that apparently we memorized or whatever. So these were Satan's steps that he had created for people to get to the top of the steps, and that gives you that pyramid image. So apparently inside of the mansion is the higher ups, the people who have a little bit more knowledge and are given the steps to supposedly reach godhood, or whatever lie Satan has sold them. So you're walking up the steps in unison with the partner behind you. It's a very seductive sexual, kind of process where you're walking up these steps. A person of the opposite sex is right behind you. They're rubbing against your body, and you're walking up these steps. Well, I could never get the steps right with my partner. Could never do it in unison. And that kind of shows you how, if you have a partner who is not Jesus, that partner cannot work in unison with you in perfection. They can't. They're carnal. They're incapable. They've been corrupted. But at the same time, it shows how if you're given the wrong steps, you can fall into carnal pleasure and carnal thinking. So while I was attempting to walk up the steps with this partner, I was getting into carnal thinking because this partner was right behind me. So it just shows you the carnal steps, that Satan leads you up. Supposedly you're going up the steps, but apparently you're falling into a reprobate mind. You're falling into seduction. And so I couldn't get up the steps with one partner. So someone from upstairs, who's already upstairs because the woman who doesn't have a bridegroom is upstairs, so that's Satan. And I'm unable to complete the steps with the partner that was given to me. So another partner who's even more seductive, more good looking, comes from upstairs. So that gives me the idea that this is a fallen angel that is being married to these elite who are being given the steps to supposedly reach godhood. So if you put a fallen angel with an elite, that's going to make them even more subjected to Satan's plan, because they're even more, because these fallen angels have the mind of Satan, so they're even better at, and Satan is the father of lies and deceit, so they're going to be even better at seducing you, even better at um, ensnaring you. Okay, so this person comes behind, this more attractive person comes and does the steps with me in synchronicity, in unison, and I'm even more seduced. So while I'm still not able to get all the way up the steps, I'm even more seduced because Satan employs his chief demons to the elite that he needs to fool the most, because at the top of the pyramid you're even more visible. So it's important that you be of Satan's, it be within Satan's plan, because you're more visible, and he's going to use you in order to help continue to fool people, because if people knew they were in Satan's kingdom, they would rebel, they would be angry, they would seek something else. But if you can make it look just seductive enough, where people at the bottom feel like Satan is generous for renting out this space outside of his mansion, and the people at the top feel like they're being given seductive um, fallen angels and chief demons to seduce them even more while they're learning these steps, and they think they're going to learn steps to get to the top, but they're not, because what Satan is doing is prolonging the time, because he knows his future is death. So he's just prolonging his time. He doesn't care about other people. He prolongs his time through deceit. And the reason God is allowing this to continue is because the people have accepted Satan. I mean, they've fallen into the trap. They've rejected the truth, and so they've been married. The elite especially been married to these highly seductive fallen angels who are teaching them these steps, supposedly teaching them these steps in order to make it to the top. But you'll never make it to the top, because Satan likes gross inequality. He likes to be at the top. And these demons who if you're worshiping a false god, these demons aren't going to pass up the opportunity to put themselves at the top of the pyramid in place of the true God that actually deserves worship. So even in worshiping false gods, even if they supposedly don't exist, an opportunistic, predatory demon is going to put itself in that position. So you're actually worshiping the fallen angels and Satan through believing in false gods. So the important thing to remember is that this is Satan's kingdom, and anything that you worship that's not of God is within Satan's kingdom. And the farther you get into it, or the higher, supposedly higher, and the more important you become to Satan, the more deceived you become, because the more he's going to unleash on you the 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 highest seducers, the best seducers. But it's just important to realize that this is a counterfeit world that Satan has pulled over our eyes. And if you believe the lie, if you believe in the counterfeit world, you'll perish with the counterfeit world. But if you realize that you're in a counterfeit world, then there's a chance that you can be saved and not end up wasting your time worshiping these highly deceptive, highly skilled, and they're highly skilled at deceiving people. If you think that you're in league with them, they'll deceive you the most, and you'll be the worst off in the end.